Hi there. Welcome to 45 Hours to Singularity. I'm Dominic. This is my future. Today's story is called Nano Shotgun and has a look at the repercussions that we might expect in the future if we commit a serious crime. We'll talk about the themes at the end of the story and what I linked it to in real world news. So settle back and let's begin. It's just too damn hot, he thinks. Licks the sweat off his upper lip. He misses that sense of stubble, the raw rasp that he should feel on his tongue but doesn't because of that damn treatment his wife made him take all those years ago. Something about his sissy smooth lips and cheeks stole his manhood, he thinks. Stole his humanity and made him more of a mannequin than those fuckers he avoids on the street. Plastic zombies humming their way down the pavements like real folk. He licks again. Thinks of his wife and her voice. Damn, he hates her voice. Hates? Hated is more right now. He'd give anything to listen to her tell him off again. For not trying hard enough at work. To build up the credit score they needed for a VSIM upgrade. Just not trying hard enough to be a goddamn man for once. You want to know why I'm so mad, she'd say. You just fuck digital bunny girls and God knows I can't get you to look in my direction. It was true enough. Christ, it was warm. Somewhere out back of the room, a faulty refrigerator was humming like something from his childhood, buzzing away like a nest full of hornets. He knew he wouldn't be the only man failing in his marriage, calling up the latest sensory fuckfests on his ARC. 14 years of marriage. He had no idea what his wife liked in bed anymore. He didn't care, to be honest. But he really wanted to feel her hand right now. Instead, he gripped down and felt the sweat slide around his fingers as he squatted in the corner. The thick seam of his jeans pressed against the wet pool of his crotch, and he considered standing up to relieve the pressure on his groin. He didn't suppose it mattered one way or another if he did, but something deep inside, something human and animal that all the other digital shit in his head couldn't cancel out, told him to stay down just a moment longer, just squat and think. Traffic hummed on the road outside. He thought, given the circumstances, it would have been quieter, really. Silence would have given it a sense of occasion at least. He let out a tuneless little keening noise to go along with the automobile sounds. He recognised the rhythm from something he sang to his little boy. Bye, baby bunting, daddy's gone a-hunting to get a little rabbit skin to wrap the baby bunting in. Dad, don't you think it's time to come home? Mum misses you. I miss you. That day, he'd sat in a diner looking at his boy, a boy who was the man out of the two people at the table. That was another damn hot day. Sun beating through the gaps in the blinds. Yellow light getting in the eyes, making him turn away from his son. Just that. Not guilt, not shame. He stops humming. Smile creasing his lips. So proud of his boy. Dragging his dad out of the whore's nest he landed himself in. Never giving a single word of recrimination. Just determined to get his dad back. How the hell did he grow up so fine? 13 years old and more of a man than I'd ever be, he thinks. How did the rest of that song go? Seemed odd not being able to search through his ARC to check. No soothing voices to reassure him that the knowledge of the world was at his fingertips and that life was proceeding exactly to plan. Little rabbit skin. His grip squeezes on the cylinder in his hands and he remembers his own father, taking him out to the woods all dressed in leaf print. Point and squeeze, son. Squeeze real gentle. Don't worry. Ain't gonna feel a thing. God gave us these creatures so we can eat too. Never feel bad about following the order of things. Fact. God gave us guns so the animals don't feel no pain. Whole world's based on killing to eat one way or another. Damn right it is, he thinks. He looks at the plastic tube and grip in his hands. Of course, you wouldn't ever see one of these on some pig or deer hunt. Not that you could hunt outside of synths and sims anymore. The idea that a man would kill a wild animal to eat was so far removed from what a man was these days that 20 years ago was more impossible as an existence than 20 years into the future had been then. He let the image of his father stay with him. He liked how clear the memory of the big man was now his head and thoughts were clear of chirping, flashing sales talk that he couldn't shit-can fast enough on his old spec ARC. He spent some time drinking in the feel of his father's arms, crushing him against his chest, a stubbly kiss goodnight as he moved out of the room to let mother perch on the bed edge, an old-fashioned storybook in her hands. Now there was a man who wouldn't smooth his chin or lips for any woman. God, he missed him. The memories weren't augmented by old photos or recreations, but they were clearer than he would have expected. Smells, touches, tastes and sounds were all there, just how he'd left them. Well, he might have been less of a man than his father and his son before today, but he was sure as hell a real man again now. He wondered when they cut the line on his ARC feed. When he was thinking about his son, his wife. Across the room, the crumpled pile that had been a human made a low sound. The degassing farts almost hummed and chirped. Did they cut the feed when he pulled the trigger? Were they already that fast? Sweet Jesus, he would bet that was exactly how fast they were. He squatted still in the corner. He knew that there was no good reason they weren't looking at his feed, even though he was cut adrift. Probably why traffic was still humming down the blacktop outside. They knew exactly where he was and what he was doing. But you can't see my memories, you fuckers. You haven't got them yet. Ronald, this is a security judiciary connection. Ronald's eyesight goes blank. Then his hearing goes. Finally, his voluntary movement. Keep still, please. You have committed an illegal act. The taking of life warrants an immediate judgment and appropriate action. The man Ronald huffs and grunts as what he thinks of as his mind is flooded with shocking light and sound. The plastic print gun, lubricated by sweat, finally slides from his nerveless fingers. It's a damn shame that I don't even get the respect of having a real cop show up. It used to be cordons and come on out with your hands up. Real men facing off against each other. Yes, Ronald. Your sentence was decided upon 14 seconds ago at 1:52 p.m. 14th of August 2045 by a collective intelligence of the security judiciary. Imposed euthanasia was agreed upon. You are eligible for a sedative. No. I'm not a fucking coward. No. You're a murderer. Don't you want to know why I did it? It is known, Ronald. We downloaded the motive from your ARC implant 3.2 seconds after you committed the act. It was a deciding factor in your sentencing. Can I at least stand up, for God's sake? Is it important? Ah. You are in discomfort. My balls are killing me in this fucking crouch. You may stand. Ronald's agony drops from crotch to knees as he stands. The room's quiet except for the hum of the fridge out there in the back room. But there is no fridge in the back room, Ronald. It was awaiting your sentencing. You mean my death was back there, waiting for me like the grim fucking Reaper? Ronald listens as the buzzing closes up to him. A small shape drifts into his peripheral vision. Window light glints off something black and glossy, with the same shine of the printed gun he held a moment ago. Cool air washes across his right ear, blows down his collar. Damn! Typical that the nicest feeling he's had in this sweatbox room should come from that thing. Multiple rotors spin in front of his eyes and something cold and wet touches his forehead. And he thinks of his wife kissing him there one winter morning. And they were young and stupid playing in the snow. The AI is silent, but he knows it's watching. The hum seems to vibrate through his whole head, picks him up and... See, son? You just squeeze real gentle. Don't worry. Ain't gonna feel a thing. Never feel bad about following the natural order of things. Fact, God gave us guns so the animals don't feel no pain. Whole world's based on killing one way or another. Thank you very much for taking the time to listen to that story. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed the themes. Now, the overarching theme, of course, is that the man's life is taken from him by a decision by AI using a small nano drone. And we are not far away from this. You can go on YouTube right now and actually see footage of drones carrying small explosive packages that just pop off and hit someone in the head. I'll try and find that YouTube clip, pop a link to it in the description. What I based the story on was an event in 2016 where a man, a sniper, Micah Johnson, in Dallas, shot 5 police officers. Now, he was an army reservist. He was considered so dangerous that what they actually did was, rather than confront him with guns, they sent in a remote control device carrying a bomb. And this had never been done before. And this remote control device went into the room that the man was hiding in, and they exploded the bomb, killing him. They were cleared by a grand jury for doing that. But here's the thing. They didn't try and capture him alive. They executed him. Police officers chose to execute him. No judge, no jury. That was it. And it is that fine grey line. I count myself very lucky to live in the UK where we don't have the death penalty. I would rather see criminals incarcerated for life than killed. And there are people who would complain about taxpayers' money and the conditions they're kept in, such and such. But there's no capacity there for remorse if their life is taken away. And I would hope that unless there's some mental instability there, such as you get with serial killer, psychopath, sociopath, then I hope that that guilt would at some point kick in, even if the sentence was life means life. And I have no problem with a life means life sentence for the right type of criminal. So there's the overarching legal aspect there, that the man is killed for his act. Obviously, in the story, it happens, he's judged within seconds. And they judge him based on his implant. And there's also this idea that a man should not, and when I say man, of course I'm meaning a person, I do apologise, someone should not condemn themselves. You have the right to remain silent. And in the stories, the ARC absolutely takes away that right. So you've again got the theme of surveillance. So you've got self-incrimination, you've got the execution without necessarily going before a judge and jury. We have the technology to do a lot of this stuff today, as I've told you, with the events in Dallas in 2016, and we also have drones that can kill. We have pre-programmed drones acting in war zones that just circle, looking for targets, and when they see a likely target, they tell their operator, who's normally back in the UK or in the USA, and they just... And we're not too far away from giving that choice to kill to an AI, and it'll be interesting to see where the Geneva Convention and other battlefield ethics actually say, hang on a minute, We can't give the decision to take human life to AI. But I firmly believe that in the next 30 years we are going to see that. Certainly. So, take care. I hope you enjoyed the story, and I look forward to seeing you all again for another edition of 45 Hours to Singularity.